I am very happy that you guys had such a positive reaction to my last video. I was honestly genuinely surprised how many views it got. It got way more views than I thought, and just thank you so much for it. And of course, since you guys liked it so much, I just had to make a new one soon. And as an obvious continuation of the last one where I talked about Hololive EN Generation 1, Myth. This time, I'm gonna be analyzing Hololive EN Generation 2, Council, even serving as a way to welcome the newest generation of Hololive EN that debuted not too long ago. If you are new to this series, this is basically a series where I analyze different Vtuber groups in terms of power according to their lore. I'll discuss each member's abilities in terms of fighting, of course, and give them a rank within the group. That way we can discover together which one is the strongest, at least in my opinion. Eventually, of course, I'll make the winners of each group fight each other to also rank them, and of course I'll eventually handle indie groups somehow. And, as I said today we're gonna be talking about Hololive EN 2nd Generation, Council. But before that, make sure to give this video a like to let me know if you like it, comment which group should I do next, and of course subscribe if you haven't already, so you can see more Vtuber analysis videos in the future and Vtuber related content in general. So we're starting to analyze Hololive Council. This is a very interesting group, and I think I got a very convincing ranking. Some of them were really tough to rank, because their abilities, this time their abilities are way more difficult and way more abstract to handle, so it was definitely more interesting. But I hope you guys enjoy this ranking, and I hope that maybe you agree with one or two. So, starting off this list, I usually start with what I think is the weakest member of the group, and so I'm gonna start with number 5, Moge Nanashi. Also, yeah, I'm still saying their names as first name, last name, you know, Western style. Just because I think it's funny, it's interesting, you know, you almost never hear these names in this order, so I just think it's very interesting. Sometimes, like, I forget their names are backwards, so I don't know, I just think it's interesting. It's just a fun little thing that we do. But anyway, so, Moge Nanashi, Mume, or Dear Mume, or Dear Owl. Well, to be honest, it's really not that surprising that she's the weakest, because her only job outside of content creation is recording history. She's called the Guardian of Civilization, that's her official title within Council. But besides being called a Guardian, lore-wise she's only really called a Guardian because she's supposed to guide humanity to do good and also to survive. And as far as we know, her only real power, outside of, you know, the whole like living for like many years that every single council member has, but outside of that, her only real ability is turn into an owl. So yeah, I mean, owls are great hunters in nature, don't hear me wrong. Like, have you seen an owl hunting like a mouse? It is impressive, but in terms of like trying to fight other members of this group, I don't think being an owl is gonna help much, to be perfectly honest. She's obviously more powerful than a human, like we can all assume that. I mean, she is the guardian of humanity, but definitely not as powerful as her gen mates. And she also has the very obvious disadvantage of her bad memory. According to her lore, she turned into an owl so often that her brain pretty much became a bird brain. So that's why she has bad memory, and this is a huge disadvantage, because think about it. Like, imagine she's fighting and somehow she forgets like where the enemy is, or like what the enemy can do, or she forgets whatever strategy she came up with. She could even forget why she's fighting, and that's really not good in terms of fighting. Like, this is a really huge disadvantage for poor Mume. Now she does have an animal, well, not an animal, she has animal, that's the name of the animal that she has. This animal is described as a winged creature that has scales, it has long claws, And it also has the ability to breathe fire and ice, which, I mean, this animal is already way more powerful than Mume, in my opinion. But I suppose Mume could use this animal in battle. And I mean, all of these things sound really cool. It sounds like a really cool animal, but yeah, that's about it. And immediately you're gonna see why this isn't really an advantage towards any of our other mates, gen mates. So yeah, I definitely think that Nanashi Mume or Mume Nanashi belongs in 5th and last place of Hololive Council. Now remember, this is only fighting power. I cannot stress this enough. I do love Mume. Just saying. Now on number 4, I think the perfect spot for this is actually Fauna Ceres. Fauna's title is the Keeper of Nature, and to me that already tells me that this is a step up from Mume, because the role that Fauna has is actually bigger. Mume is supposed to guard civilization, but Fauna guards nature. And civilization, in my opinion, is a part of nature in a way, because humans are a part of nature. So like nature is way bigger than civilization, in my opinion. So that's why I believe that Fauna already has to be more powerful in order to fit a bigger role. Now, first of all, it is important to note that Fauna's not exactly the fighting type. She's more like this kind, just heartwarming, you know, mother nature figure. She's more motherly, if anything. Now, I know mothers can be scary, like, don't hear me wrong. Mothers can be really scary. But Fauna definitely, like, she's not one that is gonna go on a fight just immediately. And I don't think she's gonna have a lot of fighting skills. Like, she's not super experienced in battle, which is one of the reasons why she's so low on the rank. But also, we're gonna get to her powers. Most of her role is really just being in charge of keeping things in order in terms of nature and how nature works, and also fixing stuff if it's necessary. So she's more like a... I kind of imagine Fauna, like, if the earth were to be destroyed, she wouldn't really fight that much. She would just make sure that another earth is formed. And that actually goes into the next section, because that's actually one of the powers that she has. She actually has stated that if the earth was ever to be just destroyed completely, she can just make a new one. That's part of her job, just make new earths in case it's necessary. The other big power that she's stated to have is the ability to cure diseases. So yeah, she's definitely more like a protector type. The way she cures diseases is with the golden apple that she has sometimes. And yeah, now the fact that she can make a whole earth does tell us that she has some kind of power of creation, like maybe she can create nature, and that gives us a little bit of an imagination, because that tells us she can create like life. So we can probably imagine that her way of fighting would be more like a summoning type, as in summoning plants or maybe like vines and stuff like that. There's some plants out there, let me tell you, there are some plants out there that are really freaking dangerous. There are plants that are venomous, or poisonous rather. Well, technically, if a plant can inject venom through thorns, does that make it venomous, or is that still poisonous? I don't know, I'm just talking, whatever. But yeah, there are some plants out there that, like Jimpy. Like, have you heard about that plant? You're gonna have a really bad time if you touch that thing. And of course, she also has like several animals at her disposal. I can imagine she can probably create any animal that she wants. Like maybe she can summon like a lion or an elephant or a hippopotamus or something like that to fight for her. Heck, why stop there? Actually, like, because dinosaurs were also part of nature once upon a time, so maybe she can also summon dinosaur. That would be pretty sick, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, the fact that she can make it basically summon any animal, that's another reason why she would be above Fauna, because Fauna is one animal, or maybe two if we count her pet. Fauna is like every single animal imaginable. So yeah. a lot stronger, in my opinion. Besides that, Fauna has stated she's a Kirin. That's actually her race. A Kirin is a Chinese mythological creature, kind of related to like Chinese dragons. Now sadly I actually couldn't find a lot of info of what Kirins can do. If you have more info, please let me know what Kirins can do, because I honestly have no idea. But what I could find was that Kirins are actually stated to be powerful. What I read was that Kirins can fly, they can walk on water, they can become intangible, and they can also set things on fire. Like a Kirin can basically make you spontaneously combust, and they're actually said to do this whenever they judge you and they think that you're not good. Like they will like punish you for that. Fauna is definitely more powerful than Mume. Her powers are not like super amazing in terms of battle, and again you're gonna see like just on the next spot you'll see that it's gonna get crazy from now on. So I do think she's more powerful than Mume, but not as powerful like compared to everyone else. We have reached number 3, and number 3 is actually going to be Iris. Now I know I decided to include Iris because Iris debuted just a little bit before Council, and in a lot of events Iris is usually included with Council, so I wanna count Iris as Council. I mean, what is the point of just ranking Iris on her own? Like, that makes no sense. So I decided to include it in this list. So yeah, I think that Iris belongs on number 3 with all of the other council members. Now, Iris is a Nephilim. Okay? A Nephilim. I'm already warning you, this is gonna be a long one because there's a lot of info about Nephilims, and it actually took me a while to figure out everything in order to rank her. So, Nephilims actually come from the Bible, from the stories of the Bible, and they're essentially just giants. That's pretty much what a Nephilim is. They're just giants born from the mixture of angels and humans. So demons are technically not involved in this. Now Iris is actually quite different than that kind of Nephilims. Iris is not a giant. I actually searched her size, her height. She's 166 centimeters. So yeah, definitely not a giant, not even close to a giant. Giants are like 3 meters tall, at least according to mythology. Well, I guess it depends what kind of mythology, but you know what I mean. So yes, that is the kind of Nephilims, and obviously we're not talking about that kind of Nephilims. The kind of Nephilim Iris is, she said that she's a mixture between angel and demon. Which, I mean, if we really want to be strict about this, demons are angels anyway, so we're just gonna ignore that, okay? So the concept of Nephilims as a mixture between angels and demons, I think that actually came from the game Diablo. I think that is the first instance where we actually got the Nephilim as a mixture of those two races. And in there, they're not called Nephilims, they're called Nephalim. So just to try to be like coherent and to really understand what we're talking about, I'm just gonna keep calling her Nephalim, even though she calls herself a Nephilim, okay? But it's pretty much the same word, it's fine. We could talk about Nephalim in Diablo, but there's also a problem with this. See, the Nephalim in Diablo pretty much look nothing like Iris either, because the Nephalim in Diablo, lore-wise, they're basically the ancestors of human. So in Diablo, angels and demons got together, created the Nephalim, and then as Nephalim procreated and multiplied, those Nephilim started to become human. So that's the origin of humans. But they pretty much look exactly like a human. Iris does not look exactly like a human. She has angel wings and she has demon wings, like the black wings. So I had to search a little bit more to see where this depiction of angel wing and like the white wing and the black wing came from. And sadly, I couldn't really find a damn thing. There are several depictions of these creatures, like in anime and stuff like that, but for the life of me, I could not figure out where the hell this thing comes from. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna talk about what Nephilim or Nephilim, like Iris as a Nephilim, is supposed to be, which is a combination of angel and demon. So we can probably assume that whatever powers angels and demons have, Nephilims or Nephilims also do have them. So I'm just gonna talk about that, okay? So, first of all, angels. Obvious ability is the ability to fly. Pretty much every single angel can fly, even though not all of them have wings. Every single one of them can just fly, they can float, okay? That is like the obvious ability that angels have. And Iris obviously can do it too. Now, angels can probably fly at least as fast as light, if not faster, honestly, because there's several parts in the Bible, at least there's a couple of parts in the Bible and other stuff, where they can just travel big chunks of galaxy, like humongous chunks of galaxy, in a matter of minutes. And remember, most of the size of most things in space, we usually measure them in light years. Like however much light can travel in a whole year. And angels can travel it like super fast. So yeah, they're probably faster than light, honestly. So that, see what I mean? Like, already this is super incredibly powerful. This is already like way more fighting capabilities than anything that Fauna can do. But angels also have the abilities of invisibility, intangibility. They can actually go through walls and stuff. I believe that a few angels can actually manipulate fire in some degree, because some of them actually do have fire swords. So that is an interesting ability that I could give them. And now talking about demons, well, again, in terms of mythology, like where angels came from, demons are pretty much just angels, and they have no difference whatsoever. But they do have the added bonus of shape-shifting, because, you know, demons can like become these horrible creatures and stuff. And they also have all of the paranormal abilities, like moving objects and stuff. Probably some kind of like telekinesis, I would say. So that's nice. They also can possess bodies, which is something nice. Iris probably can do that. Although I have the funny feeling that Iris's possessions wouldn't really be that scary. They would be more like you would find that in an ecchi anime, I'm pretty sure. But oh well. Demons also have like a lot of different types of magic. Like if we go on different media, like demons can like manipulate fire, or maybe they can use some other kind of dark magic stuff. But yeah, so that's what I think Iris can do. And again, when you put light speed or anything beyond light speed, even the speed of sound, like that's already hard to beat. So it's pretty obvious why Iris could beat Fauna in a fight. Now the next few ranks, they're not so easy to beat just with this speed or stuff like that. Arguably maybe the next spot, and you'll see why. So without further ado, next one, number 2 on my list, Sana Tsukumo. And yes, I am putting Sana here because even though she has graduated, she was part of Council, and lore-wise, she's still part of Council, she just doesn't stream anymore, so there you go. We're going back into what I was talking about with Fauna and Mume. I said that to me, Fauna is a step up above Mume, because Mume is civilization, Fauna is nature, which already involves like the entire Earth. So that's a new level. And now with Sana, I think we're gonna get a new level even above that, which is now space and planetary level. So Sana is the speaker of space, and she's in charge of anything space related. Everything that has to do with space is in charge. Sana is in charge of that. She has said to be born from a stellar nursery, meaning she's essentially a living planet. That should already tell you that she's really freaking strong. Just with her size, like her main power is just being a big woman, a big ass woman. Her normal size is said to be a little bit bigger than the sun, which means, yeah, she can probably destroy like most planets of our galaxy, like no issue. Of course, she does have her limiter. Her limiter basically allows her to be human size. That's what the limiter does. On a full battle, we can probably assume she would just go full size. Like, why wouldn't she? There's not a lot to say about Sana in terms of just this. Like, she's just a big woman. However, she has said, and this is very interesting, and is like, again, we could argue that Iris just with the speed of light, because if you shot something at the speed of light and it hit a planet, I'm pretty sure that planet would just get destroyed, which is what probably would happen with Sana. However, this is where we have to talk about like size and also something else. First of all, the fact that she's planetary level means that she can probably, like, just with her size, she can do a few things before Iris can actually reach her. So maybe that is a thing. But also, she has said to have gotten into contact with the Ancients. And this is what I think could be the tiebreaker. Because she has said, at least according to her wiki, I actually didn't fact check this one, but according to her wiki, she has stated that she's an ancient apostle. I hope I'm saying that word correctly, because I haven't heard that word many times. But for what she said, she said that humans are not quite prepared for all of the secrets of the ancients, specifically the ancients of space. So, you know, space gods and whatnot. So to me, that speaks that Sana actually does have more knowledge of the ancients than Ina does. Because remember, Ina's lore, officially, at least on this timeline, Ina's lore is that she summoned the tentacles, but she never read that book again, because she was just scared of it. So she actually doesn't have a lot of info or magic of the ancients. However, Sana does have that knowledge and power, which to me that speaks that Sana, in terms of ancient magic and this like eldritch magic, she actually has more than Ina. And that is insane. Like, again, we could go back into the Ina animation. Sana is confirmed to be stronger than Ina, so that says a lot about her powers. And if she does have all of this like eldritch magic, eldritch stuff, I'm pretty sure she could beat Iris, even with their speed, even with some other stuff that Iris have that I said. I think this knowledge and power can actually be stronger than Iris at the end of the day. So yep, number 2 for Sana. Finally, we're gonna go with Crony Oro, or number 1 spot. Possibly to no one's surprise, to be honest, because when you start talking about time manipulation abilities, that is really freaking broken. Like, there's really not that many ways you can beat it. But I thought that it is very interesting. So, okay, let me get to Crony. Okay, so I'm gonna be referencing a comment that someone said on the last video. Actually, a few comments did say that to them Ame was actually stronger. Now, I disagree, because Ame's power is just time traveling and not necessarily time manipulation, as far as I know. I don't know, maybe I am wrong, but I think so. But I do understand that any kind of time messing is just really broken and also really difficult to rank, because it's just weird. So I can see why you would say that. Whenever Crony debuted, there was a little bit of an issue with her debut, I think, or maybe with her Twitter account, something like that. And Ame actually said something like Crony was trying to find her, and Ame like basically hiding from Crony. So Ame, to me, sounds like she has some concern for Crony finding her. And that to me says that if you agree that Ame was the stronger one on the last video, Crony is definitely stronger than Ame, because Ame was worrying about that. Now I'm pretty sure Ame can escape Crony, because that's pretty much the lore, like Ame has been escaping Crony for a while. But I'm gonna get that in a second. So, Crony is the Warden of Time. Warden means guardian, if you didn't know, for some reason. But she's a guardian of time, okay? And because she's the guardian of time, it's probably safe to assume that she exists beyond time. Like, time doesn't really affect her. Proof of this is the fact that she basically chose her own birthday. That basically means that Crony has probably existed even before time itself even formed. Or maybe as time was formed, maybe, I don't know, it's a little bit weird. But the fact that she doesn't have a birthday and rather she can just say, oh yeah, I was born this year, whatever, I'm the ruler of time, I get to decide when I existed, when I started to exist, you know, it's really interesting. Something interesting to note is that her power of time hasn't actually been expanded a whole lot. We really don't know if her powers are just absolutely controlling time, or maybe she can just control a little bit. Like, it's really hard to tell what Crony's powers truly are. We do know that Crony is aware of Ame's time travel, so she definitely knows what's going on with that, and with any time travel possibly. And to me it sounds like Crony is powerful enough to stop her, and maybe she just doesn't want to, or maybe because Ame can just like keep traveling in time, she just thinks it's a hassle. Because let's be honest, Crony is like this. If something is too much of a hassle, Crony is not gonna give a shit about it. But maybe, I don't know. Also, they seem to be friends now, so maybe that's why she never went after her, I don't know. Either way, I think her powers over time, whatever they are, is just really freaking broken. It's hard to make any kind of time ability without it being absolutely broken. Like, if she could, okay, if she could stop time, that's immediately an instant win. Like, Sana can be as big as she wants, Iris can be as fast as you want. There's no speed that can go beyond stopping time. That's just not how it works. That's an insta win. That's literally an insta win. This is how broken it is. Oh, also, something very interesting is that I actually started researching a little bit of what would happen if time stopped, but you could somehow keep moving. And apparently, like, you would think that is great, but it's actually really not. If you kept moving while time itself is stopped, you would basically have an infinite speed, and that would mean you would destroy yourself. Like, over the minimal of movements, you would literally just get obliterated just because of how fast you would be, like, comparably going. So yeah, that is definitely horrible. That is a rough way to die. And it's honestly kind of hard measuring Crony, but honestly, just talking about time manipulation abilities, come on, it's really difficult to beat time manipulation abilities. It's just like, and especially because she's the guardian of time, the warden of time. Like, you could probably say she's like the most powerful creature in terms of like time manipulation abilities. She's absolutely broken, and to me that is why she's #1 in terms of power in the entirety of Hololive EN 2nd generation. And well, that is my ranking of Hololive Council. What do you think? Do you agree with my ranking, or maybe there's some positions that you would shift? I don't know, let me know. And I do hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, you're probably screaming at your screen right now, aren't you? you at this point you most definitely noticed that I didn't mention like one member. I completely missed her. I didn't mention her at all. So yes, I didn't rank Hako's Bales. Okay, let me say it correctly, because her name is a little bit difficult. Heiko's Bales. That is the way you pronounce that name. Okay, whatever. So Bales Heiko's, or Heiko's Bales, however you wanna say it. I rank her number 0. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm putting her above Crony as a number 0 spot. No. Okay, let me explain why I'm putting her in a very special place rather than the first rank or whatever rank she would be in. Okay, let me explain. So here's the thing about Vay. She's different. Okay, she's very different from all the others. She's not a guardian, she's not a watcher, she's not a speaker, she's not anything of that. She is the only member in council that is quite literally the personification of something, the embodiment of something. Okay, Heiko's bells is actually the embodiment of chaos. Now this sounds like super edgy, like yeah, chaos, but let's think about this, okay? What the hell is chaos? This is really the problem. Chaos is by definition the opposite of order, right? But what does that mean? How do you measure that? This is why it's so difficult, and this is why I'm putting Vay in a very special place, okay? The perfect example of how her powers work in terms of chaos is that her age is literally random, okay? And I want you to think about this. Her age is random, okay? Her age is random. She could have been born yesterday, or she could have been born 1,000 years ago. Maybe she hasn't been born yet, and all of those sentences are true. What does that mean? Basically, her power is just randomness. That is the best way that I could describe her powers. It's just complete and utter randomness. It's absolute chaos. And that basically means she could possibly do like things. She could do things like turn water into dirt. She could turn dirt into steel. She can make left become right, right become left, up become down. She could mess up the planet and probably destroy it just like that, but her power could also do the opposite. Her power actually could make more order, because that is also kind of disorder, because that's not the order that we're used to. So you can definitely tell why this is so difficult, right? Vay is basically able to make time so chaotic, not even Crony can control it, and therefore she could be defeated. But also, she could mess up with time so much that she could just destroy herself. And that would also be chaos. That would be her ability. It's not supposed... Chaos is not supposed to be in favor of one thing, even chaos itself. Because then it wouldn't be chaos, then it would be order. And the reason why I put it in a very specific rank, on a very separate rank, is that you could tell me that Vay goes above Crony, that Vay could destroy Crony, no problem. And I could be fine with that. I could believe that. Because again, she could just mess time in a way that Crony is not able to even be able to control it anymore. I completely messed up that sentence, I'm sorry, but yeah, Vay could probably beat Crony like that. However, you could also tell me that when she fights Moge, whatever odds she ends up making could end up making Moge, I don't know, some kind of god even, or something like that. That would still be chaos. If Vay can just control chaos in a way that is not predictable, because then it wouldn't be chaos anymore, how could she actually use this in a way that could actually, you know, be useful against her enemies? Like that chaos could backfire to her. Vay's powers, actually, yeah, this is a great example. Vay's powers are basically rolling a dice. If it ends up on a good number, she wins. And she could probably win against any creature in the universe, like god creatures, space gods, ancient beings. Like, it doesn't matter. If the dice goes in the right spot, she wins. But also, if the dice lands on the wrong spot, Vay loses, and she could lose to a cockroach. Like, I don't know. Like, there's really no way to tell how her battles are going to go, because you can't predict chaos. So yeah, That is why I think her rank is just number 0. Her rank is chaos. Literally, her rank in terms of power is literally chaos. She could win against anything and she could lose against anything. But maybe I'm just an idiot, maybe I'm just overthinking it, maybe the power of chaos is way more simplistic than I think it is. I don't know, that is the fun of it. You can just make whatever you want. And I'd be happy to hear it. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me, or if you would put Bay on number 1, maybe on number 2, maybe you would put it at the bottom, I don't know. Just let me know what you think. Let me know what do you think the power of chaos is, and if you agree with this or not. I don't know, I'm just an idiot talking about on the internet, I don't know, I have no idea. Leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see each other on the next VTuber analysis where, I don't know, and you guys tell me what group you want to see next, and I'll see what I can do. Anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you for giving so much love to this series so far. See you the next time, and sayonara.